Let's learn one other topic with the agents, that is level of agency. So how much level of agency does an agent should have? That is the level of control or autonomy an agent has is called agency. That is, in order to consider something as an agent, the basic requirement is it should use the LLM and also be able to use the tools. For example, let's go to ChatGPT. So let's ask a question. List the top 10 places to visit in New York, right? And if you notice here, ChatGPT is trying to do the web search. Okay. So that means it is using a web search tool, right? So it's an LLM, that is ChatGPT, using a tool to give us the results. But in this case, we are not taking any decision or planning though, right? As per our definition of an agent. So you understand the level of agency in this example is very minimal, right? So the LLM is just using the web search tool, then it is giving us the results, right? So let me walk you through a few more examples so you understand the meaning of agency, right? So for example, let's take this scenario, simple processor, right? That is grammar checker, which can rewrite a sentence. In this case, the agency level is 1 because agent doesn't influence what the next action is, right? All it is doing is just checking the grammar and then rewriting the sentence, nothing else. And if you take the router case, customer support query or chatbot, right? So agent determines basic control flow, right? And then give them the answer. So it is kind of executing a flow. So in this case, the agency level is 2. And if you take another scenario, tool caller. For example, you have a smart calendar that checks for let's meet on Monday. So this is the text, and once it finds this text, then it should schedule a meeting, right? So in this case, the agent determines function and execution. So the agency level is 3. And multi-step agent, right? Personal travel planner that can gather flight, hotel and places to visit options. In this case, agent prepares a plan and execute it step by step, right? So that's why the agency level is 4. And multi-agent means, for example, let's say travel planner agent calls booking agent and then booking agent calls email agent, right? So multi-agent, one agent workflow starts another agentic workflow, right? So in this case, the agency level is 5. So the lower the agency level, the lower is the value created by an agent. Higher the agency level, the higher is the value created by an agent. Okay. And in our example that we have seen already, that is booking the flight, planning the trip, and executing different actions has more levels of agency, because agency is nothing but the amount of control an agent has, right? That is, it has tool control or decision making control, etc., right? And in this sales example, agents have a lot of levels of agency, and highest level of agency is when one agentic workflow calls another agentic workflow, which is nothing but travel planner agent calling booking agent and booking agent calls email agent, right? So this is nothing but multi-agent, right? So we understood that when an agent has tool access and an agent can make a decision and an agent can execute an action, then those agents have higher level of agency. So agency level speaks about the value that an agent can provide, right? The lower the agency level, the less the value creation. The value can be either time or money, right? That is saving time and increasing revenue to reduce costs, right? Now, let's further simplify the definition of an agent. So, an agent consists of two main parts. The first one is brain. Brain is nothing but the LLM, that is the large language model. So, we will learn about large language model in detail in the next lecture. And also to handle reasoning and planning. And the second part is body, right? So, the body is nothing but the tools which enable the agent to perform the actions and tasks, right? The action can be sending an email by accessing the email tool, right? So do not get confused between an LLM and an agent, right? So LLMs do not take any decisions or they do not perform any actions by themselves, and LLMs cannot interact with the external environments as well, right? That is, they cannot browse web pages on their own, but an agent can do all these things, right? So an LLM equipped with tools is nothing but an agent with minimum agency. And if we add planning and reasoning, then that would become a smart agent. And the final stage is artificial general intelligence AGI and artificial super intelligence ASI. We are not there yet, so let's not worry about it. So before we start building an agent, first we need to have a clear understanding on what an agent is and what is an LLM, right? So that's why we are covering this lecture in detail, and I will cover one other example so you will get good understanding on agent. So for example, consider this candidate interview process as an example. You know, nowadays candidates are using ChatGPT to answer the questions, right? So to avoid that, you added this video interview process. You are using this Hardflix, where the candidate has to record the answers for the questions you asked and then they have to upload it. So in this case, the agent task is to find the video stored by the candidates and then identify the list of good candidates. Okay, so in this case, the agent is saving the time and money. So for example, let's say you have 500 candidates applied to this position and you have to review 500 candidates videos and provide insights on the right candidates, right? So what are the tools that the agent needs? It should be able to search a website like Herflix, right? Just like Google search. And then visit the website because the videos are on this Herflix website. And then it has to download the videos that are uploaded by the candidates and then convert the videos into transcripts, right? Because we have speech to text conversion tools, right? So agent can convert the videos into transcripts and then agent should be able to analyze the sentiment of the videos because the models are so good in understanding the language, right? So the language model that can analyze the transcript and then once it understood the transcript, then it should be able to rank the candidates, that is whether the candidate is good or bad, right? Is this agent making decisions on its own? Yes, because while analyzing the sentiment of the videos, that is the good candidate or bad candidate, it is also trying to rank the candidates. So do we need human in the loop feedback in this example? For example, let's say as an evaluator, right? I want to randomly evaluate the videos and provide the feedback so that the agent receives the feedback and rectifies any mistakes, right? Agents can make mistakes, right? Because they can mark a good candidate as a bad or a bad candidate as a good, right? So this feedback needs to be stored in the agentic memory so the agent cannot repeat the same mistake again, right? So we know this application has a higher level of agency because it uses the tools to do this web search and then download the videos and then do the speech to text conversion and understand the language and perform the sentiment analysis, right? So in this case, the agent uses the tools, takes the decisions, performs the actions, and the agent has memory and it takes the human feedback, right? So this is nothing but an agent. So with these examples, I hope you understood the value of an agent, right? So what we learned so far, we learned about hype around the agents and the research papers around the agent's hype, right? And we also constructed the definition of an agent with various examples. And lastly, we saw level of agency, right? So that's all about agents. In the next lecture, we will learn about LLMs, that is large language models. So understanding what is an agent and what is an LLM is crucial before we start building an agent. So that is why we are trying to understand the concepts in detail with various examples. All right. Thank you.